forget what today is truly about. We're going to wait for a few people to get into chat, and then we're going to have a discussion. I hope everybody is doing well. There's my, I was wondering where my vape was. I ended up grabbing another one. Gotta have them around, gotta have them around. Wouldn't know what to have. I'm sick. I hate having a cough. Hopefully I get better before Thursday. My appointment is on the 29th. It's hard to believe this month is gone because I remember we were waiting, for a month and a half, it seemed like, before, for you to go, and that was on the beginning of May, and now we're at the end of May. It's hard to believe. So good morning, Melanie, Amy, Andrea, Outer Banks, Kelsey, me and you, Amy, VA Dynamics, good morning, The Real Me Too, Carla, Mary, Deanna, it's nice to see you. Kathleen, the Priscilla, it's nice to see you, love. Patty, it's nice to see you. Jamie, Aletha, it's nice to see you. Texas, Cowgirl, it's been a while. Like seeing you. Good morning. Good morning. Don, Judy, it's nice to see you. Crystal Pistol, Mandy Moo, good morning. Gigi for Life, Tessa, it's nice to see you. Erna, good morning. I think I said me and you. Yeah, I did see that, me and you. I need to go to the computer and download that because I don't think Seth would have known how to do it, but I'd like to clean up the noise just a little bit, take some of that traffic out of the background, enhance the volume. It's not going to sound perfect, but maybe we can hear it just a little bit better. And I'd like to hear it because that's one thing that it really drives me a little bonkers. Oh, let me put my red glasses on. It's a little more patriotic. I forgot I still had my gray ones on. Hold on, let me change out. There we go. Much more patriotic. See, I'm more red, white, and blue. You guys didn't see it. It's a little cover for the bathing suit. I got a little bathing suit under here. But it's a little patriotic. Look at that. It's got a little bedazzles. Oh my gosh, I found the perfect, you guys know I like the bedazzled stuff, okay? So I like the little, if you see my glasses always have a little bling on them somewhere. They got bling on them somewhere, So I get blingy stuff. If you notice my little flip-flops, my flip-flops have blingies on them. See, I get blingies. I like blingies. You guys get the thing. I like blingy stuff. I don't know why. It catches my eye. I like it. I know it's probably not in style anymore, but I like the blingy stuff. I don't know why. You guys remember the little boots when I'm in the office? You guys remember I got those boots with the blingies on them? All of my shoes. I don't know if I can look around except for my tennis shoes. I don't know what shoes I have, maybe my black strap shoes, what shoes I have that don't have bling on them somewhere. I'm a blingy person. I like bling, okay? And I hate the fact that they're taking the bling away from sunglasses. I'm having to order my sunglasses online because there's not so many places that have the little, blingy thingies on the sunglasses anymore. So now I'm stuck ordering a crap ton of sunglasses online because I don't know if they fit my face, if they're the exact, because I kind of like the rectangle stuff, except when it comes to I like the browns, it's just kind of this is just my thing, okay? I don't know why, but it's what I like. So anyways, long story short, I found this pink dog leash, the retractable dog leash. And it was pink rhinestoned out. It was blingy. It was like Bullhorn Betty, Bullhorn blingy. And I am like, I went by it. I'm like, okay, because we got court stuff. I can't just be spending all this money here and there and everywhere. So I'm like, you know what? We'll get back to that. I'm getting that bling. Watch me. I'm getting that blingy retractable thing. It was so cute too. The only thing I don't like is the smaller ones for the smaller dogs. They're not as long. It's almost like you got to get a big dog retractable leash because they're longer. I'm not worried about Delilah, running off. Trust me, I could run down the street and I'll look behind me and she's 2 inches from my heels. I mean, she's not leaving me, okay? She's just not. No matter, I mean, she's right here. No matter where I go, she's right here. I was over there next door talking to Glenn this morning, right? Having a cup of coffee. And so my coffee was out, and so I'm like, I'm going to run over and grab another cup of coffee. She did not take her eyes off the front door. She stayed over at Glenn's house, but she didn't take her eyes off the front door. She stopped playing with Emily, everything. That dog will not leave me. My dog goes tough heavy when I put her harness on. Oh, she's actually getting better with the harness. She's getting better with the poor thing needs a bath. I need to wash it. Look at that. That thing's filthy. But it's just because she's out in the dirt, and when she goes over to Laura's house, it's going to go in the wash today. But when she goes over to Laura's house, I keep it on her the entire time, and she goes out there in the dirt and plays with the dogs. So, you know, it's kind of dirty, so it needs to be washed. It needs to be washed, so we'll get that washed up today. But I don't. When she's here at the house, I don't really put her on a leash. She doesn't go nowhere. Wherever I'm at, she's at. I mean, I was out there taking down this little, like, by our the light post. There's this. Anyways, long story short, I was doing yard work, and I was out there for a good, I don't know, hour and 15 minutes doing yard work. And she's just kind of nosing around. Anyways, everybody knows we've been covering the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is a teenage boy that disappeared from inside his locked home where he was with only allegedly his mother, which is military trained. She said that there's no forced entry into the home. And he had to have just walked out the front door and left on his own accord. And his father saying, wait, not so fast, because when you look at it, we didn't realize, well, we knew up front that they stated he was missing shoes. So he had a lot to do over the weekend. So what had happened is he went to school. He was at his father's the weekend before. He went to school throughout the week. Allegedly, his father spoke to him the last time Thursday afternoon after he got out of school. According to his father, he doesn't really call when it's his mother's weekend, and likewise, whenever it's his weekend, his mother doesn't really bother him. So it's just kind of an unwritten rule that they have. So he talked to his son Thursday, but didn't talk to his son Friday, Saturday, or Sunday during his mother's visit, his mother's weekend. So by Monday morning, as you all know, he was reported missing on February 26th. So he went to school on Friday. I have talked to people from his school, and they said he was not right. His behavior was a little off and a little odd. According to his father the night before, however, he sounded normal. So there was something kind of a chip on his shoulder leading into the weekend, from my understanding. And these are just, again, it's rumored. It can't be taken as fact, even when I say it, and I believe it's true. I have no other corroborating, supporting information, but I have talked to people that went to school with him. And there was just something that wasn't right with him that Friday. And then we moved to Saturday, and Saturday, this is where this photo right here came from. Many people don't know that this photo right here is from Saturday, February 24th. And this is inside the food court of Costco. And in front of him is a huge slice of pizza. And I always said it was a soda, but they cropped this photo. And over here, it's either a milkshake or chocolate milk. I can't figure out what it is, but it's a chocolate milk or a milkshake, probably more likely being a milkshake. And as you see, he seems very happy and bubbly in this photo. She didn't seem to have a problem taking a photo of him here. You know what? And as I'm talking about this right now, it's a little weird for me, because I don't think I realized it until literally right now when the light bulb just went off over my head. One thing that's been bizarre about this case is there's not a whole lot of photos of Sebastian. We all noticed that at the beginning there wasn't a whole lot of photos at the beginning that came out. Even now, even 15 months later, when we're doing thumbnails, we're basically recycling the same photos. I mean, I took some of the photos and threw into AI, to produce new photos of the old photos, right? And one of them I used on, you guys, never mind, I'm not going to rehash anything that doesn't need to be rehatched. But long story short, just to create, something fresh, right? And there hasn't been a whole lot of photos. And we've heard through the grapevine she didn't really like taking photos of him because he didn't take really good photos or something to that effect. What are the odds that she take photos of him 2 days in a row? Huh. We didn't have a whole lot of photos of him posted on her Facebook when we first started this case. We could barely get her to say his name. Every interview they had, they never showed a photo of him until Olivia's, and I know that was Olivia's staging because I've worked with her I went on the road with her for 2 years. I know her I know how she does her stuff, and when it was hers where they had the signs behind it, it's like, oh yeah, they're staging it. It's like, no, they're not staging it. Everybody kept thinking it was the Proudfoots doing it, and I'm like, no, that's Olivia. That's Olivia's style. I literally lived in hotel rooms with her for 2 years. We traveled all over this country covering different cases. And, wow, where's the time gone? But long story short, getting back to it, sorry for going on the tangent and the blast from the past. The memories. But what are the odds of her taking photos Saturday and Sunday when she never really took photos of him? I mean, that's interesting for me. Because if she took regular photos of him, you would think that they would have had a lot of photos to use for their advertisements and their social medias and stuff like that. Like, I mean, even when J4J, or I should say Gaping Lake, well, even when she started putting out some photos, it was like these were all older photos. They didn't have really any recent photos. What are the odds that Katie would take a photo of Sebastian 2 days in a row? Frontal photos. Oh my gosh. And the one at the Texas Roadhouse, she was trying to sneak intake. Anyways, I'll have to process this. This all just kind of came out of nowhere. I don't know why, but that's just kind of how things happen. I'm sitting here on my my show, and I said something, and it just dawned on me because I was explaining this picture and where it came from, and something just clicked in my brain, and it was like, wait a minute, they don't like taking photos. Like, what are the odds that they took photos of, or she specifically took photos of her son on Saturday and Sunday while they're out eating on both days? Especially because people have been talking about so much food. I don't know. I think there's something. I'm sorry. I haven't touched. Maybe I just needed to step away from the case to free the brain cells a little bit from Sebastian's case. But I'm coming back here and I don't understand this and I don't understand that. Anyways, we'll circle back. BHB, I understand that there's no leash at home, but be mindful our hawks will swoop down and grab. Oh, yeah. We have like crows. I mean, we have like red hawk somewhere, but doesn't really bother anything. Never had a problem with it. The most thing we have a problem with, the shows we have outside is the blue jays chasing the crows away. I mean, but I don't have a big yard, and she's never more than, I don't know, 3 feet from me, if that. We have to whip it Chihuahua mix. That's always comfortable, tucked in. Aw, chaos, caboose. In my opinion, it sounded like he knew something was coming. Yeah, possibly. Kids don't leave in the scary. They don't, and that's the other thing. Like he's a high functioning autistic child. Him leaving in the middle of the night in the without shoes, like that is. Every autistic child has that one tick. Okay. It sounds like everyone has that one. I mean, some of them have more, but many of them have that one. And it sounds like the shoe thing is that one. It's a comfort thing for him. He does not go outside without his socks and shoes. Just in my opinion. But getting back to this, he was at, this photo here was taken on Saturday. So now we're coming up to the timeline where Dad talked to him on Thursday. Friday came, he went to school, he wasn't acting himself, and his mother takes him to Costco's. This is from Costco's on Saturday, February 24th, and then we move into February 25th, because outside of this for Saturday, us knowing that they went to Costco's, no information has ever been provided for Saturday, where they went, what they did they leave the house, did they go to other places besides Costco, did they meet anybody, did they have dinner with anybody this evening, what was the timeline on Saturday? We do not know at all what the timeline is on Saturday. But now on Sunday, we have even for 15 months, have a very vague timeline. For example, with Summer Wells, okay, Candace and Don provided us almost a map of exactly where they went. Now, granted, between Hunter's timeline and Candace's timeline, some things were in alternate positions in the timeline, like when they went to the hippie house or to the store to pick up the twisted tea or whatever the case may be. So what I'm trying to say is that they told us they went here, they went here, they left the house, had to take Mom to the hospital, they went out to they went and got Hunter, they went out to the swimming hole, then they had to go pick up the grandmother or do this or do that. We had a timeline, a pretty reasonable timeline, a timeline where at least we can follow and see where all of these places were. For the parents' timeline, we have literally, for the mom in this, well, we have hardly anything for Chris, which is profound in and of itself for a man that says his story doesn't matter, but is told that his story is so important that he's the only one that can't tell anybody, that law enforcement told him that his is the only story that's top secret. So again, light humor on a non-humorous case, and it's frustrating. But I think law enforcement caught on to this case very early on, because on Sunday, we know that they got up, they allegedly had this fun breakfast. Sebastian allegedly called family members. They left the house, I have to think, by 11. They had to go pick up a cousin. They met 2 aunts at this new store, this new BJ's wholesale store. It had just opened, and so they went inside there even a day after Costco's. Now remember, where he is in this photo is the same type of place as BJ's. It's the same type of place, except Costco's may not have a gas station. BJ's usually always has a gas station where their members can get discounted gas. So that might have been a selling point for them. I don't know, but they went there and they said he had a colossal popcorn. But when we review the information at the court, it's a colossal cookie and a large popcorn. So did he have a cookie or did he have a popcorn? Did he have anything to eat? We don't know. Okay? But I can tell you that throughout the day, there's no other mention of food until they're at the Texas Roadhouse. So he has this colossal popcorn. We hear in a later interview, I can't even tell you which one. All I can tell you is I know I heard it with my own ears, and I remember it being Chris that said it, and it said that basically that they had left BJ's by around noon. So they went home. We know by Katie's statement they went home to put snacks away. That snacks, they needed snacks for a growing boy. Snacks, blah blah blah, snacks. But they never say what happened from the time they got home and put the snacks away to the time that they left to Stripes and Spares. But the way I'm looking at the timeline is it must have been several hours before they left their house to go to Stripes and Spares. So what happened in that several hours that they were home? We don't know. But then they went to Stripe and Spares, and then we know that they ended up going to the Texas Roadhouse to have dinner. And so while they're at the Texas Roadhouse, there is some type of, we don't know what's going on. But we do know that when Sebastian got out of the car, which was parked kind of right over here, and then they walked into the front doors right over here. Let me see if I can turn myself around just ever so slightly. So there's the front door right there. So they go into there, and this was a little bit before 6 p.m., and they're leaving about this parking spot. They're backing out about I shouldn't say that. They're coming out of the door about 6:22, and by the time they get into their car, obviously there was a conversation with the green hoodie person, and then they get into their car and they leave the driveway and they start heading toward the house, and they pull out of the driveway about 6:25. Now, we have no documentation of what time that they came home, only that we know that there is allegedly some type of dash cam or equivalent that shows her car going into the garage and hearing Sebastian's voice on it, alleging that he made it home that evening. We don't know what happened when they left Stripes and Spares, went over to the Texas Roadhouse, leave the Texas Roadhouse about 6:25. They allegedly got home just shortly before 7. It is alleged that by 7 he's taking the garbage to the curb, and then from that time to 9 p.m. we have no information whatsoever. And then from 9 p.m. we have a little bit of vague information from that point to 6 a.m. And so he goes to bed at 9 p.m. We don't know if he did his nightly routines, and we know his nightly routines would encompass him taking his medication and him taking a shower. But we've never in 15 months ever heard about him doing his nightly routines, just that she told him to go to bed, and he did. We learned from Chris that at 9:43 she called him, initiating a call that they stayed on the phone for several hours. Allegedly, he told her to go to bed. She went to bed. She wakes up at 6 a.m. Sebastian is gone, and she immediately calls Chris, which is in Mississippi, 3.5 hours away, to tell him Sebastian's missing. And then everything kind of evolves from that story. Now, after that time, after the 6 a.m. time, it's very difficult because we've learned so many different variations of the story from 9 p.m. to literally the next day of what happened from I would say 5 p.m. Sunday afternoon to 9 p.m. when he went to bed, and from 9:43 to 6 a.m. are very vague and have been riddled with inconsistencies and in several variations of stories. So it makes it very difficult for us to understand what the truth is, because we have several different variations of what Chris and Katie have told the world about those time frames. Mama Bear, it's nice to see you. Aletha, Karen, it's nice to see you. Me and you, the real me too. Amy M, good after or good morning. I can't remember what day it is. Ganja Girl, aka Jen, it's nice to see you. Kimberly, hello. Pete, it's nice to see you, my love. I hope you're doing well. Common Sense, it's nice to see you. Chaos, happy Memorial Day, guys. Okay, in Seth's full interview, he posted, speaking to Sebastian, he said he'd never let him go back to that house, and he's so sorry he never knew what he had to go through. Yeah, it's very, very, very disturbing, without, to say the least. It's very, very, very disturbing. So we have a lot of confusion when it comes to what happened. And obviously, after this, there was a lot of strain in the relationship between Seth, Chris, and Katie related to what happened about their son. Because Chris called Seth the morning that Sebastian was missing, not Katie, Chris. And he said, don't be mad. Chris never tells that part of the story when he tells the story about what he says to Seth. I am absolutely confident when Seth says the first words out of his mouth was, don't be mad. I believe him. I believe him. And so we've heard so many different things going on. Many people at the beginning were talking about the scratches and what appeared to be bite marks on Christopher Proudfoot's arms. And there has still been no resolution to where those markings came from. When Chris was asked directly about them, he states his little Yorkies that have paws. May I borrow your paw? I'm sorry. I know you're comfortable. That has paws smaller than this. Paws smaller than this. That did those marks all over him. She just got her nails clipped. She's been all over me, jumping all over me on my back, on my arms, everything. I don't have scratches or bite marks. What appears to be scratches or bite marks, and that's a scar, so that doesn't count. So you see what I'm saying? Nothing. So that is something that people had identified in what we dubbed the green shirt interview. Now, this green shirt interview elicited some conversations from a guy that I really don't have a whole lot of respect for, and you guys probably know him, Gray Hughes, right? However, he does great work. Okay, let me move this out of the way. He does great work. But this is the path that Mr. Proudfoot told him. And I have to believe that he shared these screenshots with Chris Proudfoot to make sure that they were accurate. And this is the same exact path that the lights video took. Now, the reason why this is important is because we know that there was a scent. We know 15 months later that scent was not Sebastian Rogers, but that the dogs did pick up a scent. And look at the path that those scent dogs took. It is the exact same path One appears to be lights number one's path. The other appears to be lights number two path. And so this is where the issue lies, because we know that there were what we believe flashlights coming from the side of the yard. Could it have anything to do with the secret window? Or excuse me, the secret door? I don't know. We've never confirmed one way or the other whether the majority of the crawl spaces in Tennessee homes are attached inside the house. If there's access inside the house, we don't know. We don't know. But we do know in 15 months, this is the best 2 military trained parents can do as far as getting any type of search efforts underway. And it's important because Seth got hundreds of people out there. He did that multiple times every single day for literally a month. He was out there every single day waiting for volunteers to show up to go out and search for his son, identifying areas. A man that's not trained in that. These 2 people here were specifically trained, courtesy of the U.S. military, specifically the Navy, on how to properly do that. Yet they took the bench during all of these efforts. And this is the best that they could do in 15 months and can continue to do in 15 months. Now, this right here is a statement from Eric Craddock recently. And I've got to say, to me, and this is when Seth gave his statement to WKRN, and they didn't put, because it was written, it was an email, was not in their segmented video. It was in the body of the article that they wrote to accompany that video. And this is a statement from Eric Craddock's office, and it falls a little short. It talks about that certain aspects of the investigation are not visible to the public, even though we haven't had any visibility to the public in well over a year. We're not getting in there, but it just felt hollow. It felt hollow. But not near as WTF as what I'm about to show you from yesterday. Many of you guys know that yesterday was National and International Missing Children's Day, where many people came together to raise awareness in a multitude of ways, including fundraisers for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. However, some creators use that opportunity to bash other content creators. I didn't watch it. It's just what I'm hearing on Twitter, which I find appalling. But again, it's not near as appalling as I found the statement of the mother and the stepfather of this missing child. As many people know, whenever there's a missing child, that parent, the one thing, no matter how difficult the case is, when a parent doesn't have their child, they don't care about other people's missing child. It is a selfish thing, and I get it. It is a selfish thing. It's their right to be that selfish. It's their child. It's the one that they gave birth to. Okay? They didn't give birth to a child in Arkansas that's missing. They don't know the child in Arkansas. They don't have a relationship with the child in Arkansas. They have a relationship with their own child that they have a connection, a literal connection to. And it's not being selfish. It's wanting your child to be brought home. I have never heard in the history, except with Don Wells, the concern about everybody else's missing child but their own. Until I witnessed this statement right here, which is making its way, oops, wrong one, which is making its way around social media right now. Let me find it. This one? Yep, there it is. There it is. Let's read this together. Please let everyone know that we have been listening all day. We are so grateful to see all those who care about the missing. We are blown away by the participation of everyone. There is always a flame that burns for every missing. Families are waiting for the day where they are reunited with their loved ones. We pray and hope all the fundraising will help National Center for Missing and Exploited Children bring closure to everyone. God bless and spread love to everyone from our family to yours. Love, Chris and Katie. Not one of these people are talking about Sebastian. Not one parent, mom or stepfather, even breathed Sebastian's name. Not one. Nothing about Sebastian. Nothing, no statement of hope of bringing their child home. Their child. Nothing in here saying, oh, by the way. Oh, who is this? Aw, Brenda, thank you. Thank you so much. Let's see, I can't seem to pin these super things. In my opinion, the dogs picked up the scent. It's because CP was carrying. I think so too. I think so too, because I mean that those things have been enhanced so much. And what do you think about this? There's always a flame that burns for every missing. It's weird. It's just weird. I hope I don't hang up on you guys. Give me just a second. I want to see something here. No, I don't want to retouch. Retouching off. What's this? Okay. Oh, there's my, okay. Oh, I can do polls on this. Oh, sorry. I can do polls on this one too. What's this one? Shopping? No, I don't have any shopping. I wanted to see what all I can do. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Okay. Sorry, I didn't know. I don't come on live like this all the time, but here lately I have been because I've been having the green screen behind me, which is what I'm used to on TikTok, which is really nice because I can come here and show you guys. It's right behind me. It's I don't know, it's a little easier. But how does that make you guys feel to hear this? Like, this is International and National Missing Children's Day, and the only statement we get from Chris and Katie Proudfoot doesn't even mention their missing child's name at all. They have an opportunity to be in the spotlight and bring awareness and avocation for their child. And they didn't. Oh, is that Andrea? Is that Andrea? Oh, I'm so far up. That's why I haven't seen anything. Oh, that's Lady Roses. Thank you. A flame that burnt. Exactly. Because, you know, we're kind of in with, like the deception detective, you know, he makes us think, you know, a lot more about the words that are being used and how they're phrasing them and how much information is going in and out and what the case may be. I would bring out the CPS papers with a lawyer. I would bring them out only if they help or bring clarity, you know, because don't know. I would think that there has to be some sensitive information contained in those reports. And I don't think that those sensitive information, that private stuff, needs to be in the public domain, you know. I don't know how I feel about that personally. Do I think some information from those reports would be good? Yeah. Yeah, I do. So I would divulge those report cases for sure, but understand for the others can too. Yeah. And there was a big hoopla because if you remember, even that unscrupulous PI kept trying to get Seth in trouble if he was going to divulge or disclose them. Remember, he lost his stuff over it and started calling all these people to make sure law enforcement let them know immediately, like literally immediately, that if he shares them, he's going to go to jail. He's going to go to jail. What's this one? Okay, that was that one there. Oh, I'm not ready for those. Those are for another show. Those are for another show. So that's what it is. It's like, what in the world is going on? And how can a mom and a stepfather be so cold and callous? And how can they not think that we normal people watching this case is not getting that absolute vibe? Seth can't jeopardize the case in any way. I agree with that, Rare. I agree with that. In my opinion, I would be making Craddock eat the papers at the report. That guy is such a douche. Their sheriff is such a douche. And it's hard for me to say that. I love law enforcement. But what a douche. You know? And it sucks. I mean, it's always problems. You know, that's why I try to be fair with law enforcement. I try to explain things to my audience, like, you know, when it comes to my audience, I tell you guys, no matter what case we're going to cover, law enforcement's going to make a mistake. They're human beings. You know, you're talking about things moving at literally a mile a minute. Mistakes are going to happen. So I don't fault, you know, law enforcement on mistakes. I don't fault them on that at all. What I fault them on is not, not owning the mistake. And I understand the legal implications by them owning the mistakes. You could get stuff tossed and this, that, and the other, and they're trying to preserve stuff as much as possible, and I get that. But if they did something, they did something. And I think that the processes in place work when everybody is being truthful and transparent on both sides. Because we know darn well that law enforcement can, and at times, can be dirty, right? And I think that that's very dangerous because law enforcement has a hard enough job as is. And and trust me, the good work that they do does not get front page news all the time, right? If you have one officer that does one terrible thing, you've got it peppered from every single news outlet across this country. And it makes the whole darn police and law enforcement just look like crap. And it's not fair. It's just not fair. So whenever I see an officer that's doing wrong, you know, or I'm critical of him, it's not to be nasty to him. It's so that they learn from those mistakes, or they, you know, maybe they hear my criticism, but if not, it's still my criticism to have. But I do it from a place of love. You know, I want people never to make those mistakes again, right? It's growth. That's what I want from law enforcement, is growth. I don't expect them to have answers. Why? Because they're freaking humans. We don't have all the answers either. It would be pretty reasonable. Was that really Sebastian at the Texas Roadhouse pick at Costco's? Looked 12. Yeah. That was from, that's why I kept telling everybody. Everybody's like, oh, that's from years ago. I'm like, no, it wasn't. That was literally from February 24th. That was the most, well, we were led to believe that was the most recent picture, which comes to the caveat of, don't you find it funny that we don't have any pictures of Sebastian, had barely any pictures of Sebastian. And all of the sudden, she's taking pictures of him on Saturday and Sunday. You know, I never looked at it at that angle before, but now that I'm looking at it at that angle, that seems suspicious to me. You go all this time barely taking photos of your son, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 you're taking all these photos, all these glam shots. I mean, come on. It doesn't make sense. None of their behaviors are making sense. But it does provide, or at least lead us to, to formulate some type of opinion. Off the subject, but when the Proudfoots called SCSO to report him missing instead of 911, did they have the sheriff's office in their contacts? Did they Google the number? You know, that's been the question. But if you remember, Football Mom, we had a situation where everybody believed that Chris and Katie had, several people that they knew investigating this case, which made a lot of people feel very, very uncomfortable. And people question that. People question that at length. And law enforcement still never told us whether they had law enforcement that knew Katie and Chris and that were friends with Katie and Chris. We only got a response somewhere, and I believe it was from somebody directly asking Eric Craddock. And I believe he told, or somebody told them, maybe it was an email sent early on, and somebody told them that the sheriff isn't friends with them. But it was, and I know about language and wording and stuff like that. And it should be, there are no people at an arm's length from Chris and Katie that are working on this case, and that's not what was said. That is not what was said. So anyways, this right here bothers me. This right here, back here, that bothers me. Not one mention of their own missing son. It's National and International Missing Children's Day. It's an opportunity to showcase your missing child. We took the opportunity to showcase multiple missing children yesterday, and Chris and Katie can't even say their own missing child's name out of their blessed mouth. It's appalling. It's disgusting. That's how I see it. Let me know how you see it. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. If you guys will stick with me just for a second, I want to make sure that I got everybody's comments here. Aletha says, thank you for all you do, Betty. Thank you, Brenda. I think, in my opinion, the dogs picked up the scent because CP was carrying Sebastian. I agree. And a flame that burns, huh? Yes. Burn barrel, question mark? Possibly. Was that really Sebastian at the Texas, or at the, I think you meant at Costco's. He looked 12, I think is what you were meaning to say. And yes, I agree, there was a lot of people saying that, but that was just taken on the 24th. So I think we got everybody. I want to thank you for your love and support. Don't forget, I'm still fighting this legal battle between Chris and Katie and the Bowersox and me, where they falsely accused me of a lot of stuff, did some trickery with the helps of the courts in Sumner County. Thank God to the grand jury for seeing through the BS. So we still have a lot of expenses that we still have. So if you guys would like to contribute in any way, we still have the GoFundMe. We still have the Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. You can always do a super thank you, a super sticker, or a super chat, but I always appreciate your love and support. And for those that don't have the ability to contribute, you can always contribute by watching and sharing these shows. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you have an amazing day. We'll be back later today to talk about any of the updates on Lily and Jack's case as their case is heating up and full steam ahead in a full criminal investigation. We'll be back soon. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another, and let's keep Sebastian's name alive. God bless each and every one of you. See you soon.